For Tom, knowing how old school you are now regarding video games, are you equally as old school when it comes to comics?
Well, it's funny because in the UK, I grew up on these UK comics called the Beano and the Dandy, and the most people's access to Marvel and DC is a later one, and it's through kind of cartoons and trading cards, I guess. But in terms of comics, the thing is, I was introduced to American comics really through the movies. It was Christopher Reeve's Superman was the first superhero I'd ever conceived of when I saw the movie when I was 6 or something, and I loved it. And it's really that film and also Tim Burton's Batman are kind of my first early superhero contacts.
Not having it in your DNA when you grew up, any trepidation about such an iconic character such as Loki?
I never get afraid of things, only get excited. It's just so much fun. It's such a great character. You just treat, and never mind the iconography. I don't know, it's like playing an iconic Shakespearean character or something. It's just a privilege to be asked to do it. And with a character like Loki, he's got such a level of complexity and so many layers to him, so many things to explore, especially when he is as well written as he was in this film by Joss. I mean, when I read it, I couldn't believe my luck. It was sort of, the film was called The Avengers, and yet Loki was almost on every page. And he's just, he'd taken what I sort of had built with Kenneth Branagh, and he'd taken it further, and it was as damaged and psychologically interesting as I hoped it would be, but it was also darker and funnier, and it demanded so much commitment. I just was so excited about it. So there was no trace of fear, just a huge amount of fun.
My question is for Joss. I was wondering if you could confirm for us exactly which alien race it was that Loki was working with in the film. Was that a race from the actual Marvel Comics or one that you created? And also I was curious which secondary characters, how do you decide which secondary characters from the other films to incorporate, for instance, Pepper Potts over, say, Betty Ross or something?
The alien race are the Chitauri, and or a version of them, because they are not one of the key races and they don't have a storied history, and really, that wasn't the point. I know this debate will go on long after I'm dead, so I'll just say it was the Kree Skrull race and really make everybody angry. But and then as far as the support groups go, my first instinct was not to have anybody from any of them, partially because you need to separate the characters from their support systems in order to create the isolation that you need for a team, put them in new environs, but also so that when they would go back to their own movies, they'd have something that the Avengers didn't have, that I wasn't sort of sucking the juice out of all the sequels that are going to be coming up. So, but Pepper, this was really Robert's thing. He pushed hard. He didn't want to be sort of, crazy alone guy. He wanted to be crazy in a relationship guy, and he really thought Gwyneth would bring something great to the table, and we all thought so as well. But he's, I think, the one who convinced her to come and do it, and that made sense because he's been through 2 movies. He's had more of a journey, and he is in more of a stable place. But he can still be that and be completely isolated from the world in his giant tower that he built and owns.